Here we have our E16H series of solenoid valve coils. Now E16H is just our part number. What it stands for is a solenoid valve coil that will fit on a 16mm operator. So if you imagine a solenoid valve here with no coil on it, this would slide over the operator, the hole that goes through, and sit on there. So it's a 16mm in here. That is very important when you're sizing a solenoid valve coil for a solenoid valve, because these coils will fit not just our valve but a whole range of valves, as long as you've got the right size operator hole. Also the height. The height's very important. So from the bottom to the top of the coil, you look side on, bottom to top. Now that is the height that your magnetic field created by the coil when there's power to it will operate in. So that's important. Now the other thing you want to size correctly is the power. So when I say the power, this is the 30 watt or 45 volt amps in this series. Now this is a nominal rating because each voltage within that range is slightly different. So this range goes from 12 volt DC to 415 volt AC. Now they all come with an IP65 LED DIN plug. So this DIN plug here comes with the coil and has an LED light. Now all of them have an LED light except for the 415 volt AC. That's just a black plug. A lot of times if you buy a solenoid coil, a spare coil from another manufacturer for instance, you have to buy the coil and the DIN plug separately. We want to give you both. Even if you've got an existing DIN plug wired in place, you can reuse that and keep this as a spare. So you don't have to rewire this DIN plug. As long as it's a standard, it's the same, you could keep it on there. Now if I take this DIN plug off, this is just held in place by a retaining screw here. If I take that off, it will expose 3 terminals. You see those there? So we've got one big flat one and 2 other ones. Big flat one on the bottom here is an earth, and then you have negative or positive and negative. It's not polarity conscious, or a neutral and live, or live and neutral. Again, it's not polarity conscious. Depending whether you're DC or AC, it's neutral and live, or positive and negative, obviously. So if you were putting this together, this would go over your coil. You would have had your DIN plug wired in. There's another video on our DIN plug product range if you want to see how to wire a DIN plug correctly. And this would go over the terminals and in place like so. You would then tighten the retaining screw in there. You tighten that up, I don't need to do it now, and put this on. Now one common problem we see, and probably the most common failure of coils that we see, is not having the DIN plug entrance facing down. Now if it's not facing down, you've got a higher chance of getting water in here because it's only IP65, or if it's not the correct size cable gland, you'll get water in here and it will short your coil. So best practice is to have this facing down with a correct size drip loop and using the right size wire for your cable gland in there. If you do all of those 3, you'll have a great success. These are a class H insulation on the coil, and they'll fit a wide range of different solenoid valves as long as the operator hole, the height and the power is correct.